Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new video. So today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about Roblox trading. Um, when it comes to trading, I'm not like one of the richest people at all. I don't even think a lot of people would consider me rich, but I will show you why you should listen to me. I'm a primarily wrap-based trader, and I just wanted to give a little perspective onto the wrap trading side of Roblox trading, what we do on Rollymons and Roblox trade hangout stuff like that. And it's this video is going to be mostly targeted towards beginners who, a lot of beginners they hear the same pieces of advice every video they watch. So I'm just hoping to provide another sort of perspective as to what you can do when you start trading, some items you can get, how you can look for certain items. So yeah, I'm currently at around 80. I'm currently at like 80,000 value. I should be a little bit higher, but a lot of my items are getting LPP'd right now. It's just kind of going through the entire. A lot of items on the market are getting LPP'd, which means they're selling for like 1 or 2 Robux in order to artificially deflate your item. So it's all good. I mean, it'll always recover. I mean, as long as you don't quit, nothing really gonna. As long as you don't panic trade your items, you'll be fine. So yeah, as I said earlier, I am a primarily wrap-based trader, and what that means is I trade primarily for wrap items. What a lot of people think wrap trading is that you trade for all items, but you just go off what the wrap is. For example, if we take the legit fedora, so as you can see here, the perfectly legitimate business hat is selling for 3,980 Robux, 3,881 wrap, which means just overall the last, I think it's like 30 days or so, it's on average sold for around 3881, and the value is 4,500. What a lot of people think wrap trading is that I would try to give 3881 Robux, 3,881 Robux for this item, and I would treat it as a 3,881 Robux item. But no, what it means to me is I just would not take the effort to get this item just because it's a value item, and I'll get into it a little bit later. But a lot of people are going to expect you to pay more if you're giving them wrap items, and I've said wrap items, value items a lot already. So let's just briefly go over what a wrap item is, right? So a wrap item is any item that does not have a Rollymon's defined value. You can check which items have a Rollymon's defined value by going up here to this catalog section, going to Roblox Limiteds, and then just scrolling through. There's this third category right here is value, and if it does not have a value, it'll just be a hyphen. Like right here, this off the chain style hat does not have a value. This is a wrap item. It's a projected item, so you wouldn't want it. Most items up here at hundreds of thousands of wrap or price or value are value items. But once you get below 20,000, it starts to become primarily wrap based, right? So you can see none of these items are a value item. So these are the kind of items I would go for. There are two main types of trading on Roblox. You've got wrap trading, as I've already ascertained, that's the kind of trading I do, and value trading. And wrap trading is again getting these kind of items, you're trying to upgrade for as cheap as possible and downgrade for as much profit as you can squeeze out of the person you're trading with, right? Value trading is when you try to trade the other kind of items, value items. It's when you get value items and then you try to trade primarily for value items, and you ignore wrap item trades as much as you can. I am not an expert at all when it comes. I wouldn't say I'm a genius when it comes to wrap trading either, but value trading is definitely not my strong suit. So there's definitely stuff to be learned on other videos if they are wrap traders, because there's not. I'm not the best wrap value trader at all. I profit primarily off wrap items. But what I will say is that it is two entirely different skill sets. If you are good at value trading, you cannot just go to wrap trading right away with your same knowledge and just immediately do good. This is why you'll have a lot of people in Trade Hangout that have a bunch of value items saying that they'll just completely ignore wrap items because it is two entirely different skill sets to profit with value items and to profit with wrap items. Now, at this point, you may be asking, okay, well, what's the difference between the two? Well, I mean, so if you're profiting with wrap items, the whole objective is it's just bare bones, just back to the basic roots of trading. It's upgrading and downgrading. There's no Rollimons proofs you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, there are some wrap items which receive overpays usually when they are getting traded, but I don't really look at that just because I don't really care what the item is getting. If I receive a value item or a wrap item which gets overpays for a good deal, obviously I'm going to take. I'm not just going to decline a trade just because of its value. If I'm getting a crazy deal on a value item, I'm gonna take it. But wrap trading is just it goes back to the basic trading fundamentals of upgrading for a price and downgrading for profit. That's all it is. You're trying to upgrade into these wrap items for as cheap as you can get them and downgrade them for as much of a profit as you can get. For my basis of trading is I like to upgrade for around 3 or 4% of the wrap item I'm receiving's wrap, and I try to squeeze out 7 or 8% when I'm downgrading. And you might be asking why I use percentages, and that's because if you go by percentages, it automatically scales based on the size of the wrap item. So, for example, if I am overpaying, if I just go around saying I want 1K overpay on every item, 1K overpay on a shaggy is way different than 1K overpay on a angelic face, which is 40K wrap, right? So I would recommend if you're new, you go off percentages because they automatically scale with the item size. And I mean, if you want to see how I do it here, I will demonstrate that right now. So for example, this is my profile. If I wanted to trade this Grim Axe, what I would do is I would take its wrap. So I'm just going to copy it, 15,848. I'm going to do 15,848 times, and then I said 7 or 8% of the item's wrap to downgrade with. So I would multiply this by 1.07. Obviously, I'm not trying to give like just a math lesson, but it is important because it shows you should. So I would try to get an item that I would try to get around 16,900. You can see right here the wrap. The 7% of the item's wrap added onto it is 16,957 Robux. So that's just kind of the baseline. This is the minimum what I would take on a downgrade. And let's do it again for upgrades, right? I said 3 or 4%. So I'll even go to 4. So the most I would give for the item is this right here, 16,481 Robux. It's just basic upgrading and downgrading, just the bare bones fundamentals of trading. That's what wrap trading is. Is just you follow that and just kind of have a blind eye to all the other aspects. I don't worry about proofs. I don't worry about what other people have inbound. I don't worry about all that. I don't worry about items. Well, they don't do discussions anymore, but I don't worry about value items if they're going to drop. I don't worry about stuff like that. So one thing I am starting to believe a lot more is that value trading is a lot more luck based than wrap trading. And this goes back again to what I just said about how wrap trading goes back to the basic fundamentals of trading, upgrading and downgrading. But value trading, there's a lot more factors that play into what items you would try to look for. There's proofs on the Rollymon server, which I will put on the screen now. And it tells everybody that's on the server what the item is getting in overpay. So if I go to the Rollymon server and I type in any item, it has a list of what everyone is managing to get for the item and what people are giving for the item. So if there's an item that is 20K value, but all the proofs are saying it's getting 4,000 Robux overpays, I'm not going to be able to do the same upgrading and downgrading principle because 4K overpay is going to be a lot more than 6 or 7% of the item's wrap, right? And value trading is based off of these proofs again. And I'm of the belief that it's value trading is a lot more luck based because proofs can occur while you're not even at your computer. Proofs can occur while you're sleeping, right? If proof it happens a lot. Most recent example I can think of is the 8-bit HP bar. The 8-bit HP bar went from like 9K value to 14K value in a couple, like I think in like a span of like a week and a half. And all of a sudden just a couple bad proofs and it starts dropping. And these proofs can happen while you're asleep, and then you can go to sleep with an item that's pulling 1,000 overpays, and when you wake up, there's a lot of proofs on your item, and it starts it's going for equals, or you won't even be able to get an overpay on it at all. Which is why I believe that value trading is primarily luck based. I just want to clarify that I am not trying to say that people with value items suck at trading. I mean, there are skills that go into it. There's analysis that you have to do, but you need to have luck to profit with value trading. So first of all, the demand of the item or how much someone wants it does not matter for small items at all. If you're a beginner trader and you have like 10,000 wrap and it's split amongst like 10 items, the demand of those items does not matter. There are too many people with low amounts of wrap that are trying to upgrade their items. Like there's people trying to upgrade their eggs into an item that they would overpay on your item. You can have a steaming hot pile of dog poop, and if there's people that are trying to upgrade into it, they will give you overpays just because you overpay for an upgrade no matter what. You should never be accepting a low ball for a down. If you're downgrading an item, you should never be accepting a loss if you're downgrading the item. There's small wrap items are entirely too easy to trade to be worrying about the demand. You will be able to send offers all the time. Just because you're not receiving a lot of offers, you should be profiting majorly off the trades you are sending anyway. So the demand does not matter for these small items. You can get an overpay for any item on the catalog. You can get an overpay with. The second point I want to make is how the upfront cost for value items makes getting them not really worth it, especially at the start of your trading journey. So one thing you will encounter when you start joining Trade Hangout and trading for the first time is there will be people with value items that are expecting you to overpay a lot because you have wrap items. If an item is getting 1,000 overpays and it's a value item, they will expect more than that if you're giving wrap items. And it might sound enticing at first because you're getting a better item, and as I said earlier, a better demand item. But this upfront cost you are giving for this value item it's going to eat into your profits that you get with that value item anyway. So it's not like you're increasing the amount of profit you can get just because you're getting a value item, because this extra profit you're just giving that on the front end. You're giving that when you overpay for the item. And yes, it's true, once you get the item you will get more overpays for wrap items, but this again overpay is what you're giving for it at the beginning. So it's really not worth it to give extra, just to give a bunch of wrap items for a value item for a crazy overpay, because you're not getting more profit by doing so. You're just wasting your time. You're giving too much for these value items, and it's just going to hurt you in the long run. My next point is that wrap items, they're easier to make trade by trade profit, while value items, I will admit, are better for holding over long periods of time. If you see wrap items do not really, it's very rare where a wrap item will just shoot up in value unless it's pretty rare. It will never, they don't really change that often. Obviously items get LPP'd a lot and drop, but if you are trading your LPP'd item for cheaper than it was before it was LPP'd, you're doing it wrong. You should be looking at the sales of your items and making sure that you should be making sure that your item is you're getting a fair deal with your item as it was before the LPP. Everyone can look at the sales of the items by going to Rollimon. So just because your wrap item gets LPP'd, you should not be giving it for way cheaper. You should not be giving it for its new wrap after the LPP. The reason I say wrap items are easier to make trade by trade profit is, once again, it goes back to what I said earlier, how wrap trading is based off the basic fundamentals of trading instead of all of the third party factors that go into trading with value items. You can go into anyone's inventory and trade hangout and make a good trade for any of their wrap items, because almost everyone has wrap items. And as long as it's not a projected item, you will be able to profit off of it by upgrading for a cheap price and downgrading it for profit. But value items typically have higher demand than wrap items, and a lot of times during season changes or just normal natural fluctuations, they tend to increase and decrease by large margins in value over like a year. So what to me, if I feel like value items are way better. If you're gonna go on a hiatus from trading, I would trade all of your wrap for value before you take the hiatus. That way you have a higher chance of coming back to an account with a lot more value. One of my final points here is there is a market for every single item on the catalog. There's going to be people telling you in Trade Hangout that your item is garbage, it's dead wrap, you'll never get rid of it. These are just many things. These are some of the many things that people say about items, and that is not true. There are people that want every single item. There is almost no items in the catalog that have no purchases. Just because an item has a low demand, a very low demand, or does not sell very often does not mean you won't be able to get it. There are people trying to upgrade into anything. They are trying to upgrade their trash items into your item, and you can profit from that too, because the lower a wrap item gets, the easier it is to trade. Do not let anybody tell you that you need to overpay because you'll never get rid of your item. Unless it's projected or there's a price wall on your item, you will be able to profit with any item. There are people that will want your item no matter what. Finally, pretty it might be a little controversial of a point here, but a lot of people that are in Trade Hangout, a lot of people that are rich in Trade Hangout, got a lot of their items from third-party websites by USDing buying their items, which is buying with real money on websites that are not authorized. A lot of people go to Trade Hangout and try to get rid of poisoned items or just to flex their value, and a lot of these people bought their items on websites that are not allowed by ROBLOX, and they can get it at a cheaper price. So I don't want you to feel discouraged just because you're near the bottom of the leaderboard. A lot of the people above you are worse traders than you are just by watching this video, just by watching other trading videos posted by better traders than me. You have a lot more knowledge than a lot of the people that are richer than you. So just do not get discouraged. Do not give up. You will make it. And if you have any questions in general about wrap trading, feel free to leave a comment on this video. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And if I do not know the answer, I will get an answer for you as soon as I possibly can. Yeah, other than that, that's really all I got. I hope you found some substance in this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you have a new perspective from a wrap trader on my different way of trading compared to most people's. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.